Right, how you doing, people? Bit of a different video this week. I'm going to put that out of the way because if I can see myself, I'll end up looking at myself. It's really sunny outside. I feel like a bit of a fraud, really, because when I go out and shoot my YouTube videos, I never seem to get, I never get my best shots when I'm out recording my YouTube videos, and I don't know if that's because I'm putting so much of my brain into thinking about the YouTube story, get the shot, talk about the shot. So I thought I would just quickly, I've just picked a handful of shots out of photographs that I've taken when you haven't been with me. Nothing special, just shots that I really like that unfortunately I wasn't recording. And did I get these shots because I wasn't making a YouTube video? Or did I get these shots just by the luck of the draw that I was in the right place at the right time? Don't know. But anyway, this first shot was the clock tower in Torquay, taken just after sundown, and it was shot with my Canon EOS R and the Nissi 15mm ASPH. 15mm, nice and wide, great on a full frame, but it gives great sunbursts or starbursts on lights. If you look at this shot, the street lights have got great starbursts, but that wish of colour going around the clock tower is a bus. Caught it just right, didn't need any filters because I was just losing the light, but I just wanted to get sort of about 10 seconds of time so I could catch the swoosh of the bus going by. And I just think that by using this lens where I get the sun starbursts on the lights, I just think it makes up the picture. Yeah, so I quite like that. Quite a nice shot. At first glance, you're like, what is that? You can't really see close up that it's a bus, but there's a nice clock tower slightly to the left. Not a huge amount going on in the sky, but it's not about the sky. It's more about the whoosh of the bus going around the the bus going around the clock tower, and the street lights. Like I say, great starburst, sunburst with this lens. So yeah, quite like that. Torquay, cool shot. Next one. This got me a front cover in Devon Life magazine down in Brixham Harbour. Like I've said in the past, with all my long exposure shots, I think as long as there's something in the shot that's static that can grab the viewer's attention, if everything, unless it's in, what do they call it, ICM, intentional camera movement, that's understandable, I suppose. But I think if you're going for a long exposure in like a landscape, you need something in the landscape to hold your eye to. And this shot here, I don't know if I'm going to put them up here or put them up in front of me. Static boat in the foreground. You can see there's loads of movement because the boat's in the mid-ground, slightly moving, and then you can see the clouds have got a bit of movement too, and the sun is just going down, so I've got a nice tinge of red in the sky. But yeah, that got me the front cover of Devon Life magazine, which I'll put up here. But I just like that. It's just this kind of three sectors to the shot. Static boat in the foreground, moving boats in the mid-ground, and then a bit of a Russian sky, and a bonus because it was just after sundown, there's a bit of colour. So again, you weren't with me. I wish you were with me because it would have made a cool video because I probably would have been using filters and all the rest of it. Again, I think this was on the same night, but this was probably looking in the other direction, back to where I took that last shot from. Brixham Harbour, church up on the right-hand side, all the colourful shops, some vaguish kind of reflections in the foreground water. Nice sky. Yeah, it's just a great time of day to get shots. You can see little bits of reflections of light in the windows. Really like that. This is a beauty. Probably one of my most favourite shots. Yeah, I'm coming to a shot in a minute, which is my favourite. But this is one of my favourite shots that I've taken. Mainly because I grew up in Totnes, colourful town, and I'm not one for getting in people's faces with cameras. I really find it. Photographer I know, a lad called Abs, lives in Exeter. He does street photography, and funny enough, he put a video up the other day, and I was like, man, how do you do that? I couldn't get in people's faces. I just feel vlogging in front of people is another thing. It's just like, oh, I just feel so uncomfortable. People probably don't give a shit looking at me, so I don't really know why I'm worried. But yeah, this is Totnes Fall Street, looking down the Fall Street. I think it was probably 2017, something like that. Late night Christmas shopping. But I really pushed the colours in this. I think this was is this HDR? I think I took a couple of exposures to really push the boundaries of all the colours. I just love it because of the movement you can't see. I got some really weird looks because it was raining as well, and that's why I like it. There's a bit of sheen on the floor. Stood in the middle of the high street, it was packed. People walking past me, Camera on a tripod, and I think I went for about a 20-second exposure because I didn't want no one to be static in the frame. Obviously, like I said in the last shot, long exposure shots, as long as you've got something static. So I've got the clock tower and the buildings left and right, kind of lead you down through, and then I've got all this blur of people. I think it's a good amount of blur to know that it's people and not just a blur of fluff or mess. But the detail, when you zoom in, it is so clear. You can see the marks on the walls. I just love it. Loads of colour, and to me it just sums up Totnes. Really colourful. Walked up and down that town drunk many of times. Do I like that shot? Yeah, I suppose I like this shot. This is painting seafront on a sunrise. Pier coming from right to left. Pretty much just cut the scene in half, but it was all about the sky and a huge long exposure to get this carpet of line along the top of the shot. The only thing I don't like about this shot is I like the starburst of the sun, but then I've got this trail of light that comes down the middle, the bottom half of the shot, which I don't really like. But I quite like the kind of silhouette of the pier right to left. Sky, I just love that sky. I timed that just right with a long exposure. I think it was probably about 10-minute exposure to get that. I think it was barely light. Big stopper was on. I'm pretty sure I had another ND filter on, so I just wanted to get a real rush of those clouds and see what I could do. But unfortunately, I got that burn of the sunlight coming down the middle. But you can't win them all. I didn't want to clone it out because it is what it is, and that's what you get in a reflection. So a proper whoosh, that sky on that one. This is another one of my favourites. This is the underside of the Tamar Bridge. I've always called this shot the kind of like alien shot. To me, it looks like an alien spaceship looking up. But to fit it all in, I think it was about 14 shots stitched together. All the way back, all stitched together. And then what I did was cut the shot in half, duplicated one side and flipped it over because I wanted it to look perfectly symmetrical. Cranked up the texture slider and the clarity slider, and I really like that. Even though it has got a bit of a halo, but it was a sunny day, and it's got a bit of a halo around the edges, but I quite like that. I just think it looks like two big landing feet. Oomph. I tell you what, detail is immense. It's probably about a 400 megabyte picture. But yeah, I really like that one. Cool shot. Next one, this here is just nothing amazing, just a picture of a woodland, but I was working, this is at a place called Cornwood, just on the edge of Dartmoor, and I'd just been to see a customer, and it was pouring down, it had just stopped raining. No, I saw the customer, got in my van, I was doing some paperwork, and it poured down for ages. I was just about to pull away, and I looked in my rear view mirror, and this was what I saw. It's lovely. Their house was right on the edge of a woodland. I always carry my camera with me, so I jumped out. Literally, this is the view that I saw in my rear view mirror. You know what it's like when it's been hammering it down. Rain has stopped, dark woodland, but then the light was coming in about 150 meters further into the woodland, and this is what I was presented with. It was lush. It was just kind of, I just like the ambience. I don't know, is that the right word? Just like it had a nice feel of it. Really nice. Cracking morning that was. Unfortunately, I was working, but hey ho. This is, I don't know if it's a B3357 or it's the road that goes from Pear Tree Garage on the side of the A38, Ashburton. It's the road that goes from Ashburton, past Riverdark Country Park, take a left turn over the bridge, and then you climb up onto Dartmoor. This is the view that you drive up through during autumn. Lush beech trees left and right, loads of different colours. Love it. And this is looking down the road. Just really like it. I like the tarmac flying through all the autumn colours left and right. Pretty simple shot. But that there is a shot. If you drive through in winter, you wouldn't even look twice at it because there's just no colour, no leaves on the trees. It's just tarmac, dark, boring. But obviously you can see from the shot, I've brought out the white lines a little bit. So it kind of drives you through the picture. Again, nothing amazing, but catching it the right time of year. In fact, this is the same road. That last picture, if you stay on the road, go all over Dartmoor, you drop down to Badger's Oak, you pop up the other side, you go past some, put these little hats on, I forget what it's called now. Carry on just around the corner, heading down the straight. This was shot when we had the beast from the east. Yeah, the B3357. Oh, it was amazing. It was so quiet. I was driving through and you could hear a pin drop. There's no one around because obviously Everyone else couldn't get out because the beast from the east, but luckily I had 4-wheel drive and I was working, and I used to cover Dartmoor then, and this was just a lovely, love it, tarmac road, white lines lead you through, tunnel of trees, beech trees left and right, and there's just a few dead hanging on leaves, which are the orange blotches left and right. But yeah, it was weird. It was so quiet and so. I think somewhere back in my log, I got a video up here. Well eerie. This was when I first got my Canon EOS R, because the dynamic range on this Canon EOS R is, people probably say, oh no, it's not as good as the R5, the R6, the R12, whatever we're on now. But for me, coming from a Canon 5D Mark II, this was one of the first days I took this shot. Farmer was coming towards me in his combine, and the sunlight was behind him. So I exposed for the sky, because I didn't want to blow the sky out. And then when I got this back onto the computer, you can imagine, because I exposed for the sky, got the clouds lovely, the blue sky lovely, but the foreground was so dark because it was a shadow. Got it on the sliders, lifted the shadows, lifted the shadows. I was like, I can't believe it. Look at all the detail I'm bringing back. And you've got all this dust flying out the back of the machine. Of course, the dust was being picked up better because the sunlight was from behind. The dust was between me and the sunlight, so it was getting picked up by the light. Yeah, I love that picture. Not an amazing picture. I just love it. It's a cool picture. And in fact, I had to see this, and you can actually see the farmer sat inside driving. You can see his t-shirt. It's crazy. But yeah, it's a cool picture. I quite like that. I really remember the day, because I was like, when I got home and opened the file and raised the shadows, I was like, blown away. That is insane. Yeah, the combine in the field. Cracking. I think this is on the River Tamar. I can't even remember where it was down on the River Tamar, but it was a dull morning. It even felt like it was going to snow. There was no colour about, no sun. It was just a cold, damp morning. And as I was driving down beside the River Tamar, on the right-hand side was this cool yellow-looking boat. The water was still. Just like, oh, get the camera out, bang a picture. Perfect reflection. Obviously, I've lifted the yellows a little bit in the shot. This yellow boat, everything else was just drab. And then, boom, right in the middle was this yellow boat. I think this was taken on my Canon 14 to 35 at the long end, 35mm. Probably cropped in a little bit, but just a lovely, simple shot of a simple subject. Lowered the colours a little bit in the background and popped the yellow, but other than that, not much more. It was just one of those right place at the right time. This here, again, like I said, I've just picked a handful of shots that I've taken when you haven't been around. This was taken on my Canon 5D Mark II, and the RNLI and the Coast Guard on Brixton Seafront, they did a demonstration of RNLI just picked someone out of the water, helicopter, and they airlifted and cracked the shot. This was on my Canon 5D Mark II, probably the 70 to 200, I think, at the time, the f4. And you just zoom into the shot and the particles of water and the mist flying around. I'm just amazed what these cameras can do nowadays. Bearing in mind, I come from like VHS, Betamax, 4-channel TV. So us, I don't know what you call us, we Gen X, whatever we are amazed by the quality that comes out of these cameras. Nice quick shutter speed, froze everything, froze the propellers. Yeah, just look at all the water everywhere. It's just like, in fact, I might go back. There's a fair bit of noise on this, so I might open this file up again in Lightroom with the new denoise, because that is something else. If anybody wants to see a video on the denoise in Lightroom, give us a shout and I'll talk through it, but it's not really much to talk through. It's amazing. Not over an amazing picture, but this was taken, the lens that I'm recording this with, just a picture of a butterfly at the 35mm, taken on my Canon EOS R, the 14 to 35, taken at 35mm. Look how versatile this lens is. From massive wide panoramic shots to a little butterfly on a leaf. Crazy. I think I shot it, I don't know, because I was so close, shooting at 35mm. I was probably at like something like f5.6. Yeah, a little butterfly on a leaf. I'm just so happy with that lens, 14 to 35, because I'm mainly landscape shooter, but bang it open, 35mm, get close to the ground, blades of grass, little flowers. Love it. Brilliant. Again, I think, was this that lens? Oh, which one shall I show you? There's two shots of Venford 4s. Yeah, they were taken. I'm pretty sure they were taken on this lens. If not, they were taken with this bad boy. But anyway, 15mm or 14mm First shot, leading line from a fallen branch. It's crazy. I've got all the detail in the fallen branch, then it goes up through the long exposure of the water on the rocks, and then you've got the waterfalls, and then you've got the trees in the sky, all taken in one frame. It's crazy. And then there's a landscape shot I took on the same day, 3 big boulders in the foreground. I just like the looks of it. You can see pockets of sunlight coming through, because I don't know if you've been to Venford Falls, it's below the Venford Reservoir. Anyway, anybody wants to know where it is, give me a shout, drop a message, and I'll ping you across a map and tell you exactly how to get there. But you're inside and you look out, because the falls are obviously in like a bit of a bowl, and you get pockets of light coming through. But yeah, I think that was probably was definitely with the Canon EOS R. It was either this Nissi 15mm or my Canon on the 40mm end. It would have been my IRND 6-stop filter to give me probably, yeah, it would have been about 15 seconds, I would imagine. Nice little pockets of lights. I love it up there. It's a cool little spot to go and photograph. If you've never been there, go up. I don't want to bore you with shots. This is on the Dartington estate in Totnes. The Canon, yeah, it would have been the 40D, and it would have, if it wasn't the 40D, it was the Canon 5D Mark II, and it would have been the Canon EF 17-40 at the long end of 40mm. Oak tree, sunrise. I waited there for a bit until the sun was coming up right behind the oak tree. I got this nice warm orange glow, and it was frosty and freezing, hence the cold outside of the scene. But there was a little bit of warmth just in the middle. I think I've popped the warmth just a little bit, but yeah. Dartington Estate, Totnes, fresh morning. I think it was October a few years back. But that, in fact, that's for sale, and the last shot's for sale in a gallery, Dartington, Totnes. Right, and this last one, I've got loads on here, but if you enjoyed this, I might do another video of these, because I've got loads of shots which I've taken when you lot weren't with me. So I just want to prove I'm not a fraud. I think I'll get my better shots when you lot aren't around. But this one here, I will probably bring it up on the screen. Look at that bad boy. I don't know if you can see that from there. But this is the Breakwater in Brixham, and this definitely was taken with this bad boy. But I think it's about 18 shots from left to right. So I've got the wide end to fit it all in, because I have never ever, and I don't think I'll ever see a sky like this again. Nice and wide. In fact, I think I've cropped the original down a bit. I think it's like a 16:9. It's not. It's probably works out about a 16:8. Mega wide, because this sky just opened up, and it was like a huge eye of colour. It was immense, just over. I felt like the sky was going to suck us all in. I've never ever seen a sky like that, and it was just one of those. Shot handheld. I think me and the wife were down there walking the dog, and it's just woof. And I had this I had the 50mm on my camera, on my Canon EOS R, held it up like that, and it wasn't wide enough to fit it all in. So it's like, right, bang, click, 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 click. Put it in manual mode, set my aperture, set my ISO, click, 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 click. Took loads of shots to get it all in. I think this file is humongous. It's probably about 300 megabytes. Cropped it. The only thing I did have a little bit of problem at the time was joining the shots. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because may have got a bit of vignetting, because that's quite a wide lens. But that's to me, that is probably one of my favourite shots that I've ever taken. Mainly because it's in my hometown. Mainly because it was a shed load of shots to get it all in. Mainly because I've never seen a sky like that before. And it's just perfect with this amazing sky, leading line of the breakwater, little lighthouse on the end. Just like, oof, amazing. Loved it. I just feel sometimes like a fraud, because when I go out and do YouTube videos, I get home and I get some nice shots, and like, they're all right. But then when I go out and without my camera, and when I don't record a YouTube video, that's when I seem to get my best shots. I don't know if it's because my head's not in the game, or is it just one of those things? I don't know. I've got some new subscribers this week, 2, 3 or 4 subscribers this week, which is brilliant. Cheers, people. Got to ask, hit that like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Any buttons, just press them. But cheers for watching. Bit of a different video, but the weather's just lush at the minute, and I've been shooting so many daytime, sun-time shots, which isn't really me. Normally my photography is sunrise or sunset. So hopefully next couple of weeks I'm going to get out and get some more sundown shots. Sunrise, admittedly, I'm struggling at the minute, because sunrise is like 4:30 in the morning. It's like I have a glass of wine the night before. Don't really feel like getting up, but yeah, definitely going to get some more sunsets in. So cheers for watching, people. See you in the next vid. Cool. Cheers. Bye.